The story of Mary Habila is no longer news to a lot of Nigerians, as most of us already we are following the turn of events since the story of her passing was made public. She was said to have passed, and I think sometime in June, in the house of the Minister of Works, Mr. Omahi, and the the news was made public, I think sometime in this July, last week, thereabout. The news was made public about her passing. She was said to be a former staff of the said minister, and the news making rounds is that she was a physiotherapist, the minister's personal physiotherapist, and lived most times in his staff quarters. But on hearing the minister's version of the story, he said she was a nurse. I don't know which is true, but this is just a case of murder. And what actually drew my attention to this story, and the what actually gave rise to my video, is the fact that her family are asking for privacy, and they are demanding that they do not want further investigations into her, the cause of her passing, and they just want to close the case and move on, bury her quietly, and it caught my attention, irrespective of the fact that the circumstances of her passing is not looking tidy, and the fact that someone is being held responsible for her passing, I mean, gives one, I mean, everyone should want to know what really happened, the cause of her death, you know. So, um, the family coming out to say that they do not want to know the cause, they just want to go ahead, to bury her and all. It gives one cause to worry. However, I'm just here to, spell out so many things that people don't know about criminal justice system in Nigeria, particularly in Nigeria. What a lot of people don't know. The criminal justice system is very different from the civil justice system. Now, in the criminal justice system, the crime committed is said to have been committed against the state, not an individual, not a family. The crime that is being committed in the criminal justice, under the criminal justice system in Nigeria, is said to have been committed against the state. And because the crime is committed against the state has the responsibility to investigate the said crime and to make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book and they face the requisite punishment for their crime, to make sure that the said crime is not committed again, and that a criminal is not among members of the citizens, or citizens of are not living among us. In fact, in summary, that the criminal is not living among us. So that is why the state is left with the responsibility to investigate and prosecute the said crime. That's what a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people also do not know that the burden of proving a criminal offense is to prove beyond reasonable doubt. And the reason why the burden is quite high is to make sure that an innocent person is not prosecuted for a crime he did not commit. Now, everyone is calling out someone and holding someone responsible for another person's passing. And someone else or some group of people are saying that they are not interested in investigation, and it's not your case any longer. It's now the case of the state. It is the state that has the responsibility of deciding whether to investigate or not, whether to inquire into the cause of death or not an individual, not even a family, as far as a crime is committed. The only time when a person is left with the responsibility of deciding whether to continue a matter or not is when it is a civil offense that is being committed. Here, it is a crime. It is not just an ordinary crime. Here is a capital offense. Murder. Murder is a capital offense. So it's not even in the place of her family members to decide whether they want to continue with this investigation or not, or whether they want the coroner's inquest to go on. It is the responsibility of the state to make that decision. And considering the fact that someone is now being dragged along, you know, the circumstances surrounding her passing doesn't look tidy, especially considering the fact that when she passed, the time between when she passed and when the announcement was made was so long. Too many stories flying around. That is why everyone is curious. And that is more reason why the state should inquire, should know, the state should carry out their responsibility of inquiring to be sure that this criminal is not living among us and that this crime will not be committed against another person in future. So going forward, please, in criminal offenses, let us just know that it's the state that prosecutes, it's the state that investigates, and it is the state that punishes. So that going forward, you will not begin to say, they don't want the family to maintain privacy. They don't want the family to. No, it's so unfortunate that this is a very sad situation, and I want to say that may the soul of Miss Mary Habila rest in perfect peace. It's a very sad situation. However, it is the state that reserves the right and the responsibility under the laws, our criminal laws in Nigeria, to investigate and to prosecute. I hope you found this video helpful. So if you found this video helpful, kindly share it. Share it, let it go round, if possible, to her family members. And I pray for God's comfort upon them at this challenging time. Thank you very much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.